Welcome to Yin Yoga Lifestyle. I am your host, Colette Darville. Cultivating our body's resilience and inner silence and its application to all aspects of your life. Let's become enlightened and enjoy the power of intuitiveness and creativity. You are listening to Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Colette Darville, and this is Yin Yoga Lifestyle. So now let us take a deep meditative breath. Inhale, so, and exhale, hum. Dr. Charles BENS, PhD, is an author, speaker, and wellness consultant specializing in the prevention and reversal of chronic disease. He is the founder and the president of Healthy at Work, Inc., a wellness education and consulting company focused on improving the health of employees. The company provides workshops on a wide range of health topics. Dr. BENS has written 9 books and over 300 articles, including Healthy at Work, Your Pocket Guide to Good Health, which is purchased by employers to give to their employees. Thousands of copies of these pocket guides have been purchased by public and private sector employers from coast to coast in the United States and Canada. His book, The Healthy Smoker, How to Quit Smoking by Becoming Healthier First, can be found in hundreds of pharmacies and bookstores across the country. Dr. BENS lectures all over the world in the United States, Canada, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and Latin America, on organizational change and improvement, as well as on wellness and health improvement. Dr. BENS was selected by Ottawa Regional Cancer Foundation as the Vail Visiting Professor for 2013. He has received numerous awards and recognition for his work to improve communities, organizations, and the health of employees, including a letter of commendation from the President of the United States and speaking at the United Nations Habitat for Humanity Conference in Istanbul, Turkey. He has also been named Man of the Year in a Canadian community, and Dr. BENS uses solid research and creative delivery techniques to challenge and inform his audiences. Welcome to Yin Yoga Lifestyle, Dr. BENS. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Colette, I want to know who that guy is, and I want to know how old he is, because he sure crammed a lot into that life.
He certainly has, and we're very grateful for that.
I am too. I'm glad to still be here.
Yes. Dr. BENS, we have lots to talk about. This is the part 1 of a 2-part series with you because we have so much to talk about. And we're sort of focusing on the immune system. So we're just going to get straight into it. Can you tell us why paying attention to supporting our immune system is more important during these times of viruses and flu and disease?
Well, it's really funny because if you look at all the media reports, they're all talking about the masks and social distancing, but you never hear very much about immunity. There are lots of reasons for that. I don't want to get into the politics and the commercialization of the medical system.
Right.
I think everybody that's listening to your program understands how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, natural medicines don't have patents or don't have protection in the law, and so if they work, they're really not helping a lot of the people who'd like to make money off of things that are patented, that are licensed. And so all these natural things that have been around for sometimes hundreds or thousands of years also have a lot of clinical evidence behind them. But they just don't get mentioned enough. And so I would say to people, one of the main things you need to do, along with the protection things you just mentioned, is to have a strong immune system. And that means you have to eat the right foods and take the right nutritional supplements And if you do that, then I think that's even a stronger protection than the masks and the social distancing.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because really, my biggest question here is, why do some people get sicker more than others?
Well, if you looked at the average diet in the United States, we probably have one of the worst diets in the world. Almost everybody else around the world eats better than we do. It's just because there's an abundance of food and there's lots of processed foods. And in our society, those food companies put a lot of sugar in the food, a lot of fat in the food, a lot of salt in the food. These are things that make the food taste good, but
Right.
they're really not always the most nutritious food. So the science says that the Mediterranean diet is probably the safest and best diet for most people. And that involves lean protein like fish and chicken, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, nuts and seeds, healthy oils. And if people ate that way, they would probably have a pretty good immune system to start with.
Hmm. What about the cooking of the food? I mean, you hear people say, "Oh, I really want a raw diet," or and some people have a problem with a raw diet. What is your take on that so that we can get as much as we can out of our food, all those wonderful vegetables with all those wonderful vitamins?
I think the main thing that people have to understand is the more you cook the food, the more you destroy the nutrients.
Okay.
Now, does that mean you should never eat a cooked food again? No. But the average that is recommended for people is to eat about 50% of their foods raw. And, you can do that just by eating a good salad with some raw vegetables in it at lunchtime. For hypochondriacs like me, we eat 2 or 3 vegetables every day, every meal, and we take a green powder. So we do all kinds of things to protect ourselves. But the main thing is to leave out the fast foods, the fried foods, and all the processed foods, and try to eat a whole food diet. This is what we found out from the Framingham Heart Study. Dr. Walter Willett has been monitoring 150,000 nurses for about 30 years, that if you want to reduce your risk of heart disease and cancer and flus and all the rest of it, eat that whole food diet. And you're going to, for most of people, that's going to really satisfy their nutritional needs.
Yeah. And I want to just sort of backtrack a little bit, and I want to kind of go back to the mask and the social distancing. They've told us that it's key to protecting ourselves from infection. And I know we're all about if we can boost our immune system. And you've written a lot of articles on prevention and treatment strategies, and I can't help but question, how sometimes your information will make a difference to this already misunderstood viral infection. I'm kind of backtracking back to what you were already saying, but could you enlighten us even more?
Well, here's a great example. They did a study of 4 state prisons, and I think it was California, and they looked at hundreds and hundreds of prisoners. They found out most of them had the virus. Most of them had the COVID-19 virus, but 96% of them had no symptoms. And so if you would ask a doctor, why is that possible? Well, just think about it. They're eating 3 really good balanced meals every day. They're not eating a lot of sugar. They're not eating a lot of fried foods or processed foods. They're not drinking alcohol. They're not doing all the things that assault the immune system. Instead, they're just getting basic food, probably pretty close to the Mediterranean diet.
Right.
And they're not having any symptoms at all. And so when you see that, and then you juxtaposition that against the healthcare workers who are under pressure. They're not eating the right foods because they're taking so many hours for work, and they go down to the cafeteria and they grab something really quick. They eat it too fast. They don't chew their food properly. They run back and then try to do their job. And if they get 2 or 3 infections during a 4 or 5 day period, the combination of them not eating well and getting that viral load, all of a sudden, they have an immune system that over-responds because it doesn't have the defense mechanism it needs. So this is why these young healthcare workers are dying within a week to 10 days because they're getting multiple exposures. That increases what we call the viral load. That changes the viral set point. And that means your immune system overreacts and then floods the lungs with a thing called cytokines, which are our bacterial and viral elements that are produced in our body. That cytokine storm causes fluid and inflammation develop in the lungs. Then oxygen is restricted. Then oxygen can't get to your heart and your kidney and your liver. And all of a sudden, your body is in multiple stress. And all of a sudden, they have to put them on respirators, which doesn't work because respirators are trying to force oxygen into a body where the body red blood cells can only handle so much oxygen. So you see reports, these people on respirators are dying.
Right.
So oxygen that way in the body is not the answer.
Right. Yeah.
That's a quick overview of why those prisoners were able to be asymptomatic and why these young, healthy healthcare workers who don't eat right and have multiple infections, that's why they're dying.
Right. And that could be they're not taking care of themselves, really. And the immune system is so low. And now you write that the natural flu prevention and treatment strategies you recommend, have scientific evidence as well as support from doctors who are actually practicing. They're not only effective, but they don't have any side effects in comparison to perhaps medications, which always do. Why then are so many people unaware of this information? Like this baffles me.
Well, there are a lot of functional medicine doctors and naturopathic doctors and acupuncturists. These are people that understand all this and they practice this kind of medicine for the most part, but they're still in the minority compared to the vast majority of doctors that get allopathic training. But It's increasing every year. More and more medical schools are teaching integrated medicine. And so you find that it's a slow thing. It increases gradually every year. And what's really pushing it is the public. The public is going online. When this flu first happened, within a week or two, every store on the internet had no vitamin C, no vitamin D. The zinc was gone. Everything that we know works to help has been sold out on the internet within a week to 10 days. Why is that?
Right.
Somebody knows. And so, and now this is the second or third time, those shortages have continued, and then they get some products in, and then 2 weeks later, they're gone again. They get some product in, and 2 weeks later, they're gone again. Somebody knows about this.
Yeah. But the great scope of it is that people, some people would like just a quick fix, right? Pop a pill or have an injection.
They get used to that because that's the way the medical profession has told them. You take this pill, and then within 30 minutes or 2 hours, your symptoms will go away. The problem is when you're treating symptoms, it's like tricking the body. It's like saying, look, we're going to bypass what you would normally do, and we're going to go around this side way and resolve that symptom. The problem is then the body says, well, wait a minute. We wanted to resolve the root cause of this problem. But that's not done. Medicine is treating the symptoms only. So all the natural systems that are out there to deal with the symptoms gradually and deal with the root cause of the problem, those are bypassed with medications. And that's why medications such have bad side effects, because the body said, we don't like it when you do that. And so we're going to put something else that counteracts what you're doing. And that's why we have so many symptoms to these medications.
Yeah, it's now I wanted to touch base with you about something that I read, and I think it was on your site actually. I read it. A new study from Stanford University Medical School has found that 88% of adults have weakened immune systems. Now, that's pretty shocking. What is happening to our society to promote this outcome?
Well, I would have been surprised had I not known that 5 years before that, the National Cancer Institute did a study of 16,000 people on 14 different nutritional variables. They could not find